Look what we're working on today. Stay tuned. My name is Janelle from Enticing Icing Cake Design. Today we're going to be working on this Little Mermaid's tail. Okay, so here's the template we're going to work with. It will be available below. So what we want to do is get out our fondant. Make sure it's kneaded all the way through. So now what we want to do is roll it out so we can cut out our template. Put a little bit of icing sugar on our rolling pin. Now you just want to roll it out so you can get the whole template out. Okay. Now if we just sit the template on here, lightly hold it, and with a craft knife, cut it out. Okay. So here is your tail. Just like to smooth the edges a little bit. So that's the front and this is the back. What we need to do is get a little bit of water and sit these two skewers in place. Now we want to put a piece of fondant over the back so you can hold in place those skewers. So we'll just cut out a small piece. We'll shape it when we get it on there. We'll have to cut the V out. Okay. Now we're going to stick that down with some cake glue. So we'll just put a little bit on there. Trim away the excess. Now we're going to do some detail on your tail or your fin. This is the back of it, so most people don't look at the back of a cake, however it doesn't hurt to assume everybody will. So that's the back. So we'll turn it over to the front now. And put some detail here. Try not to push too hard where your sticks are. You want it to really look like a fish. When we go to do cakes, we often research pictures on Google to see what an actual animal looks like. Feather it out a little bit. This is a good idea to do the day before. So you've got plenty of time for that to set in place before you actually have to put it on the cake. So we'll leave it there for the moment and we'll work on the other parts of the cake. So the next thing we're going to do is prep our very cute little mermaid tail for applying the fondant. So what we want to do is put a little bit of ganache on the bottom of our cake to stick it to the board. Then I like to prep this with ganache. Some people like to do it with buttercream. I prefer ganache. So we'll just put a little bit on. We're not doing it very neat for the moment, we just want it on the cake. Now we get our Flexi Smoother. It's a very, very versatile tool. And we shape the tool in our hand like that to the shape of the cake. And that helps us get a smooth coverage with less lines. If you're getting too much ganache on it, just wipe it on the side of your bowl. We're basically just filling in any holes. We don't really want it to be thick. And if there's any gaps at the bottom where your cake meets the board, fill that in with ganache too. Don't forget the top. Once you've got it to that stage, pop it in the fridge. Now that we've got the cake in the fridge and it's cooled a bit and the chocolate has set, we'll pop it out and we will apply a thin coat of fondant. Now what we want to do is just put a really thin coat of fondant on it, covering, so then when we put our scales on the cake, it sticks to it properly. This is a very small Dolly Varden tin, so I think they call it a bridesmaid. I do not know why. On our website when we sell them, we just sell them as a small Dolly Varden. Just roll the fondant up over the rolling pin. Pop our cake here. We've just cleaned up the board. Just roll it up over the top of the Dolly Varden and just smooth it out. I find it easier to lean over a cake and smooth the fondant out. So then we just get our Flexi Smoother and smooth it over. We're ready to put our scales on. We're just going to cover the cake board now. So I'm just putting a little bit of glue around the edge here on the board so we can apply this strip of fondant, which I've already rolled and cut out. I just lay it round in a circle and cut off any excess with a sharp knife. So once we've covered the board, if we just run around the board with our Flexi Smoother, it smooths out any lumps that might be there. Now what I've also done is I've pre-cut out a whole lot of the scales here for the mermaid's tail. So, and I've cut them all out with this medium size cutter from the Loyal tin set. What we're going to do now is we'll put the tail on. Okay, and we'll start applying the scales. Now, I like to cut them all in half. I think they look better if they're cut in half. Now, we've done it in 3 different shades of pink. This customer's daughter really likes pink, so we've got very, very soft pink, deep pink and a medium pink. So we start at the top. Now the top ones we leave full size, just because we need to get the height up around the beginning part of the tail, the fin, sorry. Overlap them like that. Okay, so we'll do that all the way around. I like to do the top row first and just work round in a circle until you get to the bottom. So we just keep going round with the scales. I've already put glue on here. Always make sure when you put the glue on, I like to run it all the way around the edge here, and then on the high points where I'm going to be putting them overlapped, placing them overlapped. Makes it quicker to get them on there. Try to vary the colours a little bit. Now we've just used an extruder here in order to put a thin sausage of fondant around the edge to tidy it up, make it nice and neat. Now we're going to make a little starfish. And we'll just lay the plastic bag over the top, snap lock. Lift that off. There you've got a little starfish. This fondant's got Tylose in it. So we'll do another one in a different colour. Might do a bigger one. Perfect. Works well with Glad Wrap too. Just gives you a really nice rounded shaped starfish. You can use it on any cutters really. Now I'll just let those set because I just want to sit them here on the cake. Now we're just going to finish this cake off with a lovely sheen over the tail so it looks wet. Now what we recommend is that you do this outside. It can be a little bit messy. Anyway, I'll just start. Now, what we recommend too is if you want to make it heavier than what it is now, do a couple of little light layers instead of spraying it a lot all in one hit. So that does give it a beautiful little sheen. Now we're going to put on the starfish. Just get a little bit of glue on the back. And strategically place them here. Just have them overlapping. Now we're just going to put a ribbon around the cake board and then our cake's finished. Now we've got the ribbon on the cake board, this cake is now finished. Thank you for watching. If you found this video to be helpful, subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook, Pinterest and Instagram.